olive oil. If we were making a vinaigrette, we would use something as a binder. So people use egg as a binder, mustard's a binder, honey can be a binder. It's an emulsifier. So it's going to help keep your vinaigrette from breaking, right? When you see this all separated and nasty looking. If you put it into a jar like Jamie Oliver says, you can just reshape that and it should come back together. So here's the basis of the dressing right here, and there's a tasting spoon. So why don't we just taste this and see what we're looking like on balance to start with. Okay. And I haven't added all the olive oil, so that gives me a chance to adjust the final taste. Okay, it's missing the herbs in there, but you know, we're just looking for a nice base for the dressing here. When we're making a dressing, we really want to taste the vinegar back here, kind of in the back, not in the center back of our throats, but under our jaw back over here. If we taste the vinegar right here, that means it's too hot. We have way too much vinegar, and we need to tone that down. If we have too much olive oil, I might not taste the vinegar until it hits all the way back here in the back of my throat. So we're looking for something nice and balanced. You don't want to play the game of, oh, vinegar, oh, oil, oh, vinegar, because the next thing you know, the rest of your is going to be unbalanced. So I think this is pretty close. Salt makes vinegar taste more like vinegar. Okay, so I can just simply, without adding more vinegar to this, add a little more salt, just dip the back of your spoon in there and see how you can taste the difference. Or that little bit of salt brought that vinegar up a little bit. All right? Okay, so yeah, so you can just throw all your spoons right into there because we're not going to actually use that. So that's kind of the basic, very simple vinaigrette using yogurt, which gives us an emulsifier, so we don't have to worry about too much craziness in making the dressing. I'll be back in 1 second. If one of you guys can just drain this out through that colander into that sink over there, and I'll bring the rest of the dressing and we'll get these made. And try this with all the herbs in it, just so we can kind of get an idea.
Who made the dressing?
My staff. This is the same dressing that's on the wrap in the cafe. Okay?
Oh yeah, that made a big difference.
Yeah. So it's got a little bit of sweetness to it. So there's probably a little something in here that wasn't on the recipe.
You can really taste the parsley too.
Yeah.
Does it have honey in it?
It has to have a little honey because it's got a sweetness that it didn't have before. So now the fun part. So we have all our mise en place, and we are now going to do the wraps. So, really quick first, box grater. These things are sharp, okay? They're dangerous. I lost a big chunk of my thumb knuckle to one time, and it made life pretty miserable for a couple weeks in the kitchen. So the key is, when you're using a box grater, you always want to go away from yourself as much as possible and keep your pointy parts away from it. So if I'm grabbing something and using it, I'm going to go like this. Because if I catch my heel of my hand on here, it's not really going to cut me, right? If I'm doing something like this and I roll over, I'm going to catch my knuckle. So really make sure that you go away. He says, stop when you get close to the end, but I really feel if you just really, keep the flattest part of your palm and your heel on here, it's not going to cut you, but it will take off a knuckle. Okay, so let's just come around and grab a little handful of each ingredient and just pass it around. And put it in your bowl. And here's some beets. And I'll make one here too for me.
Just a handful?
Yeah, just a little bit of a handful. We're just going to fill one wrap, and this is the ingredients we have. Just down to a little bit of carrots. Some beets. Some of the pear. Okay, and then one of the keys to cooking is flavoring every layer as you go. So this was perfectly seasoned. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Does this have any seasoning on it at all? So what happens if I pour this on this? Is this all perfectly seasoned together? No. All of the extra water and unseasoned items in here are going to make this taste under-seasoned. So we just want to make sure that we are just tossing a little bit of salt and pepper onto this before we get started. Okay. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to run over and grab our tortillas while they're still warm.
Some
I think
nice
John
tots.
cooks.
I know. Secret. I'm telling you.
You spotted the honey real quick.
Oh yeah, I love
Oh yeah?
it. If you like to eat, you gotta
That's
you
cheese.
gotta know how to cook if you like to eat.
Did your wife cook too? Or do you do more?
She does.
So do you guys have any questions about anything so far?
That's cool.
Cool. So we just want to add a little bit of dressing to this, and we can always add a little bit more. So don't feel like you have to go super crazy first time around, because the last thing you really want is a big sloppy mess. But you definitely need enough dressing to coat this all and to bring the dish together. Without enough dressing, you're just eating raw carrots and beets and cabbage. So, let me see what you got there.
Too much, maybe.
That looks pretty good. You want it to be decently wet because this is all we have in there, right? So I think I went a little shy, so I'm going to add a little bit more into mine.
Is mine shot?
Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, you don't want it to be too much, but you know, and then at this point, I would try a little. You know, where are we at? Is it salted enough? Is it seasoned enough? Does it have enough dressing on it? Mine needs a little more salt. So I'm gonna add a little more salt to it. Okay. So a couple other things that we could use this dressing for is we could actually make a salad out of this, right? If this wasn't in a wrap, I would probably maybe add some walnuts, maybe some candied walnuts. Might be nice in here, something to give it, thank you very much, a little bit more of a crunch. This dressing would be delicious over some beets, right? We could just roast some beets in the oven and do a little light drizzle of this dressing over there just to liven it up. So this dressing would make a pretty decent start to a coleslaw. I mean, this is almost kind of a coleslaw here already. So, so what we'll do is everyone grab.
Would you ever add meat to it?
You know, I'm not. People would for sure. I'm not. If I'm gonna eat salad, I kind of just want to eat a salad. You know, like to me, when I go into a restaurant and see Chicken Caesar, I kind of feel like they gave up. You know, I love Caesar salad, and that's kind of how I judge a restaurant a lot, is I'll get their Caesar and I'll be like, okay, the rest of the food's gonna be pretty good.
Really?
Or, you guys just didn't do me right with that. So, so just scoop this on to your wrap.
Just a good pile in the middle.
Just, yeah, kind of keep it in the middle to start with, just so you can aim it in there. And then, what we're gonna do is, you're just gonna kind of fold it back at you a little bit, just to get what you've put on here onto kind of the back third of what you're doing. So just kind of, yeah, pull it so you have a little bit more in the front here to work with. And then fold that back over. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is, now we're gonna start to wrap, okay? So we do the first roll over, and then I wanna pull a little bit tight here, okay? And then I'm gonna fold my sides in, okay? And I'm using my, see how I'm using my hands to kind of keep it all together? I'm not letting it go all crazy on me. So as I flap one side in, and then just give it a little bit of a roll, okay? But not too much of a roll. And then I'm gonna tuck this next side back in again here, okay?
Wait, sorry.
So just keep rolling and tucking, and you'll get this guy right here. So, yeah, so, no, yeah, exactly. Before you make the next roll, just kind of tuck that in a little bit more. And there you go. And look what I got right back here for you guys. Nice little plate to pop that on. Nice little plate to pop that on for you. And a plate. And a plate. Awesome. You guys just made yourself lunch. Look at that.
Looks good.
Yeah. There you go. So, thanks so much for coming to the demo.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Everyone.
Enjoy the rest of Jamie Oliver's Food Revolution Day. And we really appreciate you guys stopping by.
Thank you. That was fun.